Marvel's downhill slope that is Phase 4 has been a financial disaster for Disney, with each film or show just barely recouping its budget, with the exception of Multiverse of Madness.
Where's the ambulance? Why the man body still right there?
Thor Love and Thunder,
You need to shut the fuck up.
and of course the triumph that is No Way Home. With bad writing at the fault of its downfall, a new marketing strategy was being unleashed. Now that we've suffered through 7 episodes of She-Hulk, the man we've been waiting for has arrived. Although She-Hulk doesn't need no man or cameos, but still uses them. It's time to look at the new episode of She-Hulk, because I promised you guys I'd come back to it when Daredevil finally made an appearance.
Oh shit, here we go again.
The episode starts with Jen showing us how amazing life is when you don't care about saving people despite your abilities, twerking, drinking, having sex, oh, and catfishing men. So, is this the writers telling us what they were doing instead of writing an actual script?
Previously on my show.
I have genuinely never seen writers' insecurity towards their finished product reflected so much in a show, having to constantly remind us that it's She-Hulk's. The main issue it leads us to is the use of fourth wall breaks throughout the show, barely used to actually convey the character's thoughts to the audience, but constantly highlighting the problems in the script. So no, it's not the same usage as in Deadpool, that argument doesn't hold up in any way, and I'll talk about the fourth wall usage more when we get to the final scenes. The She-Hulk reminder is also telling of how bad Marvel has become as a whole, solely advertising not based on story but who is going to be guest starring in it. A major problem throughout Phase 4. When your story and characters aren't compelling, bring in old established ones to reel back in the customers. Jen is met in her office with a man who goes by the superhero name Leapfrog, who's deciding to legally pursue the maker of his suit for having sold him a defective one. She-Hulk is reluctant to help because the person who made her suit is Luke Jacobson, her tailor.
Because I like my nice clothes and I don't want to piss him off.
It's an actual conflict of interest, as she would be biased towards her tailor, but as usual, since the story has to happen, the writers usually just go,
Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Her boss actually tells her to try and settle things outside of court, so she visits the tailor, who is insulted by her insinuating that he made a defective suit. I won't actually say this is fully cartoonish behavior because I've been around fashion people and yeah, some of them are like this. Although he does rip her gala dress and kicks her out. I don't know why, but I really feel like the writers just wanted to go over the top with the dress ripping and banishment just so they could have Jen say this.
See you in court!
This does, however, raise a question. If Jen knows she'll be going to the gala dressed as She-Hulk, why not see any random tailor and, I don't know, tell them to make a She-Hulk sized dress? They meet in court and Daredevil is representing Jacobson. He's finally here and has some jokes to break the ice. One thing I did find amazing was how the writers didn't use the fourth wall to address Daredevil the same way they did with Wong a few episodes prior.
God, everybody loves Wong. It's like giving the show Twitter armor for a week.
Suits exclusively for superheroes necessitates anonymity. May I remind you that the Sokovia Accords have been repealed.
What did he say?
But it still leaves so many questions as to, you know, the legality of the tailor's business. Does he work for the government? Was he the guy who made all the suits? The She-Hulk writing dream team has been adding things to the MCU lore without thinking about any impact it would have on the world building. What doesn't help is how the show is also cartoonish in how it deals with these issues. We had an immortal man just a few episodes ago and a street magician that had sling rings. There's so much added in such a childish way, I really pity the next Avengers film writers. Now of course this isn't something exclusive to She-Hulk, don't think I'm piling in on the show. It's been around since the beginning of the MCU, but there were only small inconsistencies. Phase 4 took it to another level. Daredevil smells the fuel from Leapfrog's boots, and the latter confesses to having jet fuel being used, which loses them the case because he went against Jacobson's instructions. She-Hulk didn't know about the instruction manual. This raises two issues. If the instructions were only given orally from Luke to Leapfrog, the case wouldn't be over because there's no evidence backing those claims. If the instructions were written down, why wouldn't She-Hulk ask Leapfrog for any information given to him concerning the suit when he first bought it? I hear you saying, yeah, but he could have just hidden it. No, this man is way too fucking stupid to have hidden it. How do I know he's way too stupid? The show shows and tells me every time he's on screen. As always, after a defeat, Jen goes to a bar. I will admit this is actually the best scene we've gotten since the beginning of the entire show, the second best being where Jen talks to her father after the family dinner. The two scenes share one thing in common. It actually feels like we have two people speaking with each other about their lives. The rest of the time, everyone feels like caricatures, the upscale stereotype version of a singular character trait given to them. Imagine how bad the show is for me to be praising the fact that two actual people talking to each other is deserving of praise. Matt Murdock buys her a drink and he says what Bruce told her way back in episode 1. Now, it's nice to know that the
With great power comes great responsibility.
speech is still remembered, but it took us 8 episodes of nothing to get here. And for those saying, oh, it's slice of life, nothing is supposed to happen.
I have the power of God and anime on my side! Wait.
I'm a weeb, I watch slice of life all the time. Things are constantly happening, whether it be advancing the plot or just developing characters. Bruce literally tried to bash the superhero aspect of her abilities in her head. How selfish does that make Jennifer look as a character to the audience? Not to mention she's been complaining about not wanting to be called She-Hulk for 5 episodes straight. Why would one discussion with Matt Murdock push her to change her viewpoint?
Fuck it! Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
After arriving home, she gets a call from Leapfrog being chased down in need of help. Jen decides to put on her superhero suit and fuck off Marvel for trying to copy Edgar Wright's snap zooms from the Cornetto trilogy.
How dare you!
When on the scene, we find out Leapfrog was being pursued by Daredevil. A fight between the two ensues and Jesus Christ, she wants to fucking kill him. If any one of these literally groundbreaking shots hit him, he is dead. Not to mention she destroys a garage roof.
My ass remains unwhooped.
She throws a car at him and Hulk claps him into one. This is a typical case of style over substance. Sure, it looks cool, but man, how damaging is it to She-Hulk's character? It's her first superhero outing, I hear you say. Yeah, well, but this is just an absence of common sense. Launch a car at a human equals sudden death. She-Hulk unmasks him and finds out Leapfrog kidnapped the tailor. They team up and go find him. The heartbeat scene on the rooftop got a chuckle out of me, I won't lie. Daredevil enters the building and again they tried copying the hallway scene.
It's sad that you thought that would work.
But reminds you it's a She-Hulk show right after. She-Hulk probably killed these people and shrugs it off. What is this, Toontown? After freeing the tailor, who forgives her, and knocking down the goons, Leapfrog takes a leap and that's that. Everything just goes downhill from here. Matt and Jen talk on a roof getting all romantic with terrible background music. And then... yeah, that happened. And it makes me wonder if the only reason they set this up was for Daredevil to do the walk of shame.
Doesn't it feel like this episode should be over?
Yes, it should. But the writers feel the need once more to address things directly to the audience as if it justifies what happens next in a smart way. Marvel, either do the fourth wall breaks in a smart way or don't do them at all. The writers also feel the need to remind us that Daredevil did a walk of shame in broad daylight, in his suit, where people could see him. She-Hulk and her friend get ready for the gala with an already made dress. I hear you thinking, didn't he rip up the dress? Wasn't he just rescued last night? Is it possible to tailor a dress like this in a day?
I don't know. I just got here.
Lawyer of the Year is presented to multiple women and I have no strength left in me to point out how bad this show is, so I'll let it speak for itself.
So special and empowering. I love it.
Twice the work, half the recognition, and you're constantly being asked what it's like being a female lawyer.
And then the fandom menace strikes again, with irrelevant things that make no sense in the context of the actual show. And why are people gasping as if they were devout Catholics just finding out about premarital sex? She-Hulk destroys the haters and is now seen as a monster because the show needed a cliffhanger for the finale.
Stop it. Get some help.
Character-wise, I'm only going to talk about Daredevil. She-Hulk has been the same since episode 1, and her decision to become a hero stems from nothing at all except a conversation she had with a stranger. Even the use of her powers when deciding to become one are filled with stupid spectacle. Nothing in almost 4 hours has made me care or want to see She-Hulk as a hero. Tatiana Maslany is still great in the role. The problem is clearly from the writing and direction, or lack thereof. Daredevil was treated well, a bit more lighthearted than usual, but treated with an ounce of respect until he was just used as a sex doll. He did conform to the MCU mold, but was able to retain his core aspects at first, but like everything else in Marvel right now, he was ultimately treated as a joke. His suit was actually good looking and you can tell they put a lot of effort in it, although there was genuinely no reason for him to be in this show other than to boost ratings, and man, was it really worth it? To my viewers, please go give your Daredevil fans a hug, they probably need one. There's nothing more to add except that the VFX was better than previous episodes. As you may know, I usually cover more in my reviews, but She-Hulk is a lackluster mess and is arguably the worst product Marvel has released. The only contender is Loki because of the damage it does to the MCU world building. I'd like to end by saying thank you all for watching, consider subscribing if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.
Fucking thing sucks!